Hey, comic lovers, EMoney and the old man here with you again. So it's still cold in Louisville, so sorry, no Thor once again, and it could be for the season. I don't know. Hopefully we get another.
I don't see any warm spells coming.
No, I mean, it is mid to late November after all. All right, so today we are talking. Well, it has not been a fun week for '90s kid show icons because we're mourning another one today. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. Also, the end of an era, the end of The Walking Dead. It has finally come to an end after what, 10 years?
I don't know, but it's not over.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but the show, which is titled The Walking Dead, is over, and we're going to be recapping that in here in just a little bit. And last week we talked a lot about Doctor Who, but a new update came out just this past week. We have a new companion to welcome aboard the TARDIS. So
he's not going to talk for 45 minutes about
it'll be brief, all you non-Whovians out there. Which shame on you.
Even if you are a fan, that was crazy.
It was a little crazy, but you know what? I had fun, and if you come along for the ride, that's just fine with me. All right. So we're going to be doing that, and also our comic book reviews and previews, and we're going to be showing you what we got in the mail this week. All right? It's morphin' time. It's also back issues. All right, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Share your thoughts on some of the stories we're going to be telling today, or you can give your own review on some of the comic books we've been talking about today, or you can just say hi. All right, so let's get the sad news out of the way. All right, so many out there are mourning the loss of Jason David Frank, the original Green Power Ranger and a recurring presence throughout the show for many years. So Jason played more incarnations of the Power Rangers than any other actor during the show. Jason, he kept the spirit of the Green Ranger and the Power Rangers alive, throughout his life because he was always coming back on the show, and also he would often reprise his role as Tommy and some version of the Power Rangers in unofficial capacities as a member of the Bat in the Sun cast that did a lot of fan films themselves, and Tommy got to be a part of that, or I should say Jason got to be a part of that. So he was also slated to reprise his role as Tommy in the unofficial well-funded fan film Legend of the White Dragon from Bat in the Sun Studios, and of course we're not really sure what the status of that is at this time. So Power Rangers co-star Amy Jo Johnson, I was scrolling through Instagram late last night, and I found a heartbreaking tribute that Amy did to Jason on her Instagram, and you can check that out now. She gives a touching eulogy and sings a few songs in tribute to Jason on her Instagram. Of course, many people are mourning on almost on a personal level because, like I said, Jason, he kept the spirit of Power Rangers alive in so many ways, and one of those was that he was very active in the convention circuit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd get up there and would lead people singing the song.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seemed like at least every other convention I go to, I mean, I don't go to, I go to a couple, probably 5 or 6 at the most big ones a year, and at least every other one I went to, he was there. So and Jason was, I keep wanting to say Tommy, but it's Jason. Jason was always so energetic and had this presence to him at all these shows that he attended. And like you said, I mean, he would oftentimes, if there was a big crowd waiting for him, he would hop up on his table and he would start singing the theme song to Power Rangers, which, I mean, there really wasn't much singing to it. I mean, go, go, Power Rangers. I mean, that's about it.
The crowd really got into it.
But they got into it. Yeah, they loved it.
And there was one convention where the actors who played Bulk and Skull were there.
Mm-hmm.
they were a huge hit,
Right.
and he just fed off of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It was something.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Power Rangers fan, but that was something.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, like, anytime, someone got a picture made with him, he would do the, it's morphin' time pose with them, and he would show them, how to hold the power morpher so that they could get, just the right photo with him.
You're such a nerd.
Well, he was a big nerd, too. And I remember at one show I went to, he was a judge at one of the cosplay contests. And a lot of the costumes, like one guy was dressed as Iron Man, he went up with a mic, and he made sure that everyone heard the sound effects that the guy's Iron Man suit could do. He really got into it with a lot of those costumes. At one show, I think it was New York in 2012, one show his booth was set up next to John Barrowman's, and I remember then seeing them. I don't know if they had met before or this was the first time, but they got really friendly with each other, and they seemed like they were both having a good time. At one point, there were, there's a long line of people waiting for John, and Jason grabs a camcorder or a GoPro or something, and he runs up and down the aisle of the people waiting to meet John, and the whole time he's running down the aisle, and he's like, "This is for John! This is for John! This is for John!" I mean, he had just such a big energy to him, and he was great to see at any of these shows. So, that's why I feel like it's so personal to so many people, because he made himself so available to meet his fans. Now, usually, you guys know I don't get too serious on this show, but what's so heartbreaking and concerning about Jason's suicide is that he seemed like such a happy guy. I mean, he was active, he had projects in the works, and he had friends. I mean, he had kids, so, yet here we are. So, my advice to you, my friends, is, check on the people you care about. Even if they seem happy and active on the surface, give them a call, send them a text, let them know you're thinking about them. I mean, hell, even just sending them a funny meme, could make all the difference. And if you yourself, you're experiencing any feelings of depression or suicide, talk to someone. Talk to a friend or family member, seek a counselor or a therapist. Also, if you feel that way, you can call the suicide prevention hotline at any time at 988, and there are people who are waiting there 24/7 to help you. So take care of yourself, guys. All right, so I don't have a really slick way to transition into our next story, so I'm just gonna go into it. So last week we talked about Doctor Who. And
no, you talked about Doctor Who.
Okay.
And you continue to talk about Doctor Who.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of big changes going on. I mean, I don't typically talk about Doctor Who just on a whim. I talk about it when there's something going on, or at least not with you guys. I might torture this guy with it from time to time. All right. So all the big stuff going on, Disney deal, Russell coming back, new Doctor. Well, last week we got a new update, and that was we've learned who the Doctor's new companion is going to be. So it was during BBC's Children in Need special that the new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa's companion, was revealed to be Millie Gibson. And her character name on the show will be Ruby Sunday. So that definitely sounds like a Doctor Who companion name, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Or a wrestler.
So, the 18-year-old Millie Gibson is best known to some people, I guess, from her part in the long-running British soap series Coronation Street. So
she's 18. How long can she have been on the show?
Well, I mean, the show has been long-running. She, she was in a lot because it's a soap opera, so she was in a lot of episodes in a short amount of time. But for most people, Millie is going to be a fresh young face that Russell is introducing to Doctor Who.
She's going from a person who not a lot of people probably would recognize on the street to where everybody
instant recognizability, like it's done with so many people. Billy Piper, Kieran Gillian, and tons of other people who have been on the show are now were elevated to new status, being a part of Doctor Who. So. In an interview that Ncuti did with Millie when they were, talking back and forth, when Millie left the room after her audition, Russell, the showrunner, Russell said, that is the companion. That is the companion. So obviously, Russell was digging Millie right from the start. So, I'm sure fans out there, including myself, they're excited to see this new chemistry between the new Doctor and the new companion and what Russell has in store for us. All right, so that is Doctor Who news. See, I kept it short this week.
Hope you're done.
All right, so that's Doctor Who. Now on to the end of an era. So The Walking Dead concluded its 11th and final season this past Sunday, and it was left with a lot of questions for many people, and a couple of I don't want to say unexpected because it's the finale. You figure some people are going to die here.
I figured a whole lot more would die than did.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Big spoilers coming up on Walking Dead if you haven't seen it already. But old man, what surprised you the most with The Walking Dead?
Well, like I said, I figured the final episode we might lose half the cast, especially with the way the story was going. Where the what was this town's name? The Commonwealth.
Commonwealth. That's
where
it.
The Commonwealth, they basically, the governor, as a distraction, had them summon a horde, and then let them into the town.
The plan. I'm not saying she's not a monster. She is.
Oh, she's definitely a monster.
But the plan was to bring the horde close to the Commonwealth, create a distraction because people were up in arms about Eugene's trial. So create a distraction, create an emergency, like, hey, there's a horde outside. People need to go back to your homes and all that stuff. But the problem was they lost control of the horde.
Well, for one thing, the zombies have evolved.
Yeah, they got smart, which I don't
know about smart, but they now know enough that they can manipulate a doorknob and they can climb.
And they know how to use basic tools.
Right. We saw one pick up a rock and smash a window.
Right. And I'm not sure if I like that because I wasn't really a big fan of it when Romero started doing it, and I can't say I'm a big fan of it now because I remember when the Whisperers first showed up in the comic book. And it seemed at first like they were actually talking to each other.
Right.
And I'm like, they're not going to make smart zombies, are they? And then you find out it was...
Again, I don't think they're smart. I think they just have developed some very rudimentary skills.
Okay. Still not sure I'm really crazy about that. Anyways, so that happened, and we got a lot of teases at the end. Well, first of all, let's do the death count. Again, spoilers. So...
For the whole show?
Oh, no, we'd be here all day.
A bazillion.
So we had our guy from the
music teacher.
Yeah, the guy from Fantastic Beasts.
Right.
We had him meet his girlfriend. She died, and we didn't really know her that well. So we figured
she was a red shirt.
Yeah, we figured she was going to be a red shirt.
As soon as she showed back up, I predicted she was dead.
Well, they were with a small group for a while, and everybody in the group, we knew fairly well except her. So, of course, she was the odd person out. But then, he died, and he gets bitten. We thought, he was going to get saved, and he was going to, have to...
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't think he was ever going to make it?
No, I thought he was doomed when he showed back up.
I thought he had a chance.
You gotta remember, I thought a whole lot more people were going to die, so
right.
Picking him was easy.
And then finally, the one that probably hurt the most was Rosita, because...
Well, they teased us with her, that she fell into a mob of zombies and then busted her way out, which they've done before with a character many seasons ago, but she did get bit.
Yeah.
She didn't act like she had, and it was a while before we discovered it, but I kept thinking, man, there's no way she got out of that with a guy getting bit.
Right.
And she did.
So that was probably the hardest one. And then the series ends, and things kind of have a somewhat fairy tale ending, I guess. As good of an ending as you could hope for in a world like this. And then we get teased as to what's coming up in the Walking Dead universe.
Oh yeah, there's going to be another show.
And, spoilers. We caught back up briefly with Rick and Michonne. And we find out, we kind of get a mystery because we're like thrown into the middle of a scene with Rick on the run at the.
We have always suspected that Rick got captured by
Well, we knew he got captured. We knew he wasn't dead, or was pretty sure.
The people with helicopters and planes and all that stuff that we don't really know a whole lot about.
Right.
I suspect if we watch that one show with the teenagers,
Fear of the Walking. No, not World of the Walking. World Beyond.
Which we haven't finished because somebody keeps dragging her feet. Then we would learn more about these people, and I think we need to watch that show and get caught up.
Probably so.
I'd also like to get caught up on Fear of the Walking Dead.
But there's, I mean, the Walking Dead universe is far from dead. It's just that one show is ending, and I think we have, I mean, what, 4 or 5 new shows coming our way next year?
No, not next year. I think you're going to have one new show and the continuation of the one with the short stories.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one called? Walking Dead Universe?
World of the Walking Dead.
Something like that.
But yeah, there's all kinds of new content being created. So Walking Dead's not done. Far from it.
Well, the people that are zombified, they want more zombies.
Right.
So they better give us more zombies.
All right. So something to look forward to next year for all you Walking Dead fans out there.
Doctor Who, zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who, zombies.
Right.
Remember that.
All right, so that's about going to do it for entertainment news this week. Now, let's get into those comic book reviews. All right, so what's first up on our mentions this week?
All right, mentions. We've got our usual 3.
Mm-hmm.
We will start with a book that is basically the 4th in its run. They're all numbered number 1, but it started out with Batman, One Bad Day, the Riddler. And let's see, we've seen Two-Face,
Riddler, Two-Face, and Penguin.
And now we have Mr. Freeze. So far, I can't complain about any of these books.
Right. All right, so first of all, I want to mention that that it was a really strong week this week because a lot of comics that would usually make it into the top 3, made it into the, actually, we're not going to mention it at all, or, made it into the mentions.
Well, 2 of our mentions usually would have made it to the top 3.
Yeah, it's a shame, all of the One Bad Day comics have made it into the top 3 so far, except Mr. Freeze. But that's because, some stiff competition. All right, so, in this issue, Batman and Robin are out on patrol, and they are zeroing in on Mr. Freeze. And Batman reprises his long-running criminal sleazebag persona of Matchsticks Malone.
He's used him many, many times in the past.
Right.
It's the persona he uses when he wants to go into a bar and rub elbows with other slam balls and get information.
Yeah, he's a businessman who reeks of cheap cologne and wears even cheaper suits. So he finds out where Mr. Freeze is making his next hit, and Batman and Robin intercept. And instead of taking him back to Arkham, they make him a deal and say that we've rented out this space in a lab, and
they set up the whole lab for him.
Right, and we'll let you continue your research on how to save Nora if you stop what you're doing and you stop hurting people.
His wife was frozen in one of his previous experiments.
Mm-hmm. Well, he takes it up on their offer, and then as things play out on here, we find out some things about Freeze that we didn't previously know. It's a bit of a twist on the tale that you're used to hearing about Mr. Freeze, and some surprising revelations here.
Very sobering story.
Right. So Batman, One Bad Day, and Mr. Freeze #1 ends up with
4 shields, but after we rounded it up.
Rounded up. Okay.
All
Next
right.
up.
From Marvel, Blade, Vampire Nation. Now, I think this is a one-shot. I won't swear to it, but I think it is. And it continues, actually, next week in All Out Avengers #3.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right. So in this, I don't think I knew this because I don't read everything in the Marvel Universe, but The Vampire Nation has carved out its own sovereign nation in the Marvel Universe.
In Chernobyl.
Right. And it's city of Stravmore, and the country is Vampirsk,
Something.
also known as the Vampire Kingdom. So it opens up with one of Dracula, who is, the leader of the sovereign nation, naturally. Dracula, one of his right-hand men, is attacked in an assassination attempt by human mercenaries. Well, as we read on, we find out that Blade has been deputized in this nation.
Basically the sheriff.
Right. And he is leading the investigation to find out who was targeting Dracula and his right-hand man.
And the layers, it's like an onion getting unpeeled, just layer after layer of story. And yeah, it's a mess.
Right. And the thing is that this Vampire Nation, both Dracula and Blade, want the nation to work, but for different reasons. And there's even most of the Vampire Nation, is just vampires living there because, the radiation isn't going to bother vampires, but obviously will kill humans over time. But there's a small safe zone area in the country where humans and vampires live together. But, I'm not really sure if you're a human why you'd want to do that, but...
Well, there's opportunities in the Vampire Nation for humans because, let's face it, the vampires need humans and they're not below paying for that service.
I guess, if you're desperate enough, you do what you got to do. But I'm not there yet. I don't know about you guys. So, some interesting new twists on Blade. Him working with vampires rather than just killing them on sight. So, Blade Vampire Nation, number 1, ends up with...
3.5 shields.
3.5 out of 5.
All right, and the third and last of our mentions this week is also from Marvel. It's Murderworld Avengers. Now, the X-Men story about Murderworld and Arcade, thought it was excellent. So I had very high expectations of this book.
Right. Okay, so it starts off with this young internet kid, influencer, I guess you would call him, Paul.
Everything this kid does turns into gold for him.
Yeah, he made some decisions on social media, and he just kept getting more popular. Started out with unpacking things and things like that, and it just kept going from there. So now he can pretty much do whatever he wants, and people will follow him. Well, one of his hobbies that have interested him for a long time has been Murderworld, the game that doesn't officially exist.
Yeah, you can only see it on the dark web, and then only if you know certain information.
Right, and Murderworld sounds exactly like it sounds. As far as the the dark web thing, think of it like the Condemned, the Stone Cold movie, that's pretty much exactly how they did it. Dark web, undisclosed location, and for a fee you can watch the events unfold.
Right.
And also Hunger Games, although that was officially sanctioned in the story, but you guys get the idea, right? All right, so Paul, he's been investigating this for a long time, and then finally he gets an invitation from the organizer for Murderworld. The guy's name is Arcade.
Arcade found out that this kid's been
poking around.
He's been snooping around into his business.
So you're curious about Murderworld, so why don't you come see our next contest? We could make a documentary, and I'll call you with instructions soon. So the poor naive Paul, he takes Arcade up on his offer, and he gets onto one of the planes heading to the location with all the contestants on the in Murderworld. So he lands on the plane, or he lands in the location, and people start shuffling towards where they're supposed to go. And Paul's looking around. He's like, "Is Mr. Arcade gonna come get me? Is he gonna tell me what we're gonna do about this documentary?" Well, you can probably see where this is going. poor Paul has been duped. So
he's now in the game.
Mm-hmm. So some exciting twists and turns in this comic book, and it's just the first issue. So some pretty shocking stuff here. So Murderworld Avengers #1 ends up with
4 shields after we rounded it up.
4 shields rounded up. All right, and that is our mentions for this week. Now, on to our top 3.
All right, our top 3. Number 3 on the old hit parade is an Image book. It's Gunslinger, which used to be called Gunslinger Spawn, and I even checked the inside to make sure I was right, but they dropped the word Spawn off the title. It's just Gunslinger.
Okay.
Which would lead you to believe it's a Western. Not exactly a typical Western.
Not really. Okay, so in this one, we get some more flashback scenes of who Javier, a.k.a. Gunslinger, was before he got his powers. And, life dealt him a, pretty bad hand during his lifetime in the Old West. Also, in the present, we see him interrogating someone to get to, I'm not sure how everyone is still alive who was from his past in the modern era, but somehow a lot of them are. And it's like, does everyone have superpowers in this world? Because
I didn't think so.
I mean, guy he's investigating, I thought he was just a typical, fat mobster type guy, but he actually gives Gunslinger some trouble. So not sure how that happened. And we see Gunslinger get closer and closer to his revenge mission. So, an excellent artwork throughout, as is pretty typical in a McFarlane book. So, Gunslinger, I've almost said Gunslinger Spawn. Gunslinger, number 14, ends up with our number 3 spot.
And with 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5.
All right, next up, the number 2 spot. Stargirl, The Lost Children. It's a limited series. This is number 1 of 6. Now, we watched the Stargirl show. I think we're a couple episodes behind. But one of the reasons I like it is because of the Justice Society. And we get a lot of Justice Society in this issue.
Well, in this issue, we get some flashbacks into the golden age of superheroes.
Which is basically where you find the Justice Society.
Right. And we meet a lot of people that we may have not previously known about.
A few, yeah.
And Stargirl, in the comic, she, fancies herself a fangirl about the Golden Age. And, she unravels this mystery and finds out about all these sidekicks throughout the Golden Age that...
back then, everybody had a sidekick. Everybody.
But there's been sidekicks that people have either scarcely heard of or have never heard of. And, she's like, I thought I knew everything about the Golden Age, but apparently not. So why have so many of these people been erased from history? Well, Stargirl wants to find out. So some great stuff here and, excellent artwork. Stargirl, The Lost Children, number 1 of 6 in this limited series. And that is number 2 with...
Also with 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5. And then finally, our number 1 pick.
Right out of the pages of Geiger from Image Comics, Junkyard Joe, number 2.
Okay. So, this one starts a little unconventionally.
Oh, the whole book is unconventional.
Right. Where we follow a comic book artist, or not a comic book artist, I should say a comic artist, who drew comics in the funny pages of newspapers for a long time with a character by the name of Junkyard Joe.
And this is like Schultz in Peanuts. This guy's been doing this for a long time.
Almost looks like a Peanuts character the way he draws Junkyard Joe, and he does a light-hearted take on having a robot soldier in the middle of the Vietnam War.
Reminded me a little bit of Beetle Bailey or Sad Sack.
Okay. Well, as you can imagine, this guy, this old veteran who draws cartoons, he's gotten old and he's retired. He just drew his last comic book. And then some neighbors move in next door to him. The dad knows who he is, but he doesn't say anything to him. But he says to his daughters after he leaves, like, "Hey, you know who that was?" Well, one girl who I think might be an aspiring artist,
She is.
It takes some kind of interest in the old man and becomes curious about it. So we're going to see where her curiosity leads her. And then also the old man is visited by an old friend in the middle of the night, later that night. So definitely some interesting things going on here. And, artwork, top notch. Junkyard Joe, number 2, ends up with our number 1 spot with 4 shields out of 5. All right, so that is our picks for last week's releases. Get them at your local comic book shop now. So what's up this week, old man?
A pretty strong week. Not as many books as we've got in the last 2 weeks, but still quite a few. We got 3 Batman books. My favorite, of course, is Batman Fortress. Number 7 comes out. 8 Billion Genies.
Okay.
I'm not sure. This might be the last.
Maybe. Or second to
might
last.
be number 6 out of 8. I don't know, but the story is winding down.
Right.
Vanish. One of my favorite new books to come along in a while. Number 3 comes out this week. And we mentioned that Blade was going to move over into All Out Avengers number 3. All Out Avengers number 3 comes out.
All right. So those are our picks for this week, what we're getting. So get them yourself if you like what we're getting. All right. So that does it for comic books this week. Now let's see what the old man and I got in the mail this week.
Open that sucker up.
All right. So this week we got our November boxed heroes in the mail. So we're going to pop this open and see what came this month. And remember, if you want your own boxed heroes, you can go to boxedheroes.com and order one. You can order one just to see how you feel about it, or you can get a monthly subscription, and with that you get a subscriber bonus book.
Which many times is the best book in the box.
All right, so we got our typical stickers here. A card on how you can win a free comic book. We have a bone trading card.
Jeff Smith's Bone.
So let's see, you got SpongeBob. You got some Star Wars stuff. Green Arrow. And Tom and Jerry. All right. Now on to the comic books. Okay, so I'm going to flip this. No, that's the bonus book. Okay, do that, and then flip it. All right, here we go. All right, so it says Greg Capullo Joker variant, so I'm thinking that's kind of new. So Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, Book 1, with the Greg Capullo cover.
We got the book, but we did not get this variant.
Oh. Alex Ross, so
I already like it.
Fantastic Four number 1, which we talked about last week.
And that is the exact copy we already have.
Yep.
But that's fine.
Stanley Artgerm Lau variant. I don't know who that is. But the comic is Wildcats number 1. Right there.
Well, we got Wildcats number 1, but this is a different cover.
Okay. No info on this one, which usually suggests that it's older. Something is Killing the Children, number 26. Maybe not so much. So, next we have Witchblade, number 1.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Can't say I'm excited about that. Then we have Wolverine Casualties of War. Wolverine number 48.
I don't think this is a key issue or anything important.
Okay. Then we have, okay. I mean, older, but, never mind. It's an X-Men Classic. X-Men Classic number 37.
That's a big nothing.
Then we have Factor X.
Oh no.
Part of the Age of Apocalypse.
Nope. Come on, do better.
All right. Then we have. Oh, okay. Cole the Destroyer, number 26.
Also, don't think that's any kind of a key issue, but it is old.
Mm-hmm. And then our subscriber bonus book. We have Gold Goblin, number 1.
I mean, it's a variant, but I don't think it's an incentive book.
Right. Okay, so that is our box heroes for this week. I didn't get any of those like 1 in 25 winners, but still some good stuff. You know, some speculator stuff to keep in the boxes for a little bit. All right. So again, if you want to get your own box, go to boxheroes.com. All right. What do you say we wrap this one up on this next segment? All right, comic lovers, that's about going to wrap this show up, but a few things first. First off, we have our Whatnot auction coming up this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be selling a whole lot of toys and action figures, a lot of great stuff, a couple die casts, some Marvel, some DC, throw in some Spawn, Marvel Legends, all kinds of great stuff. And you know what? It's going to be the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so you know the holiday season's going to be on. You need to get those toys for the kids, and we got plenty of them. So be sure to stop by Whatnot this Sunday. Also, you know, another thing you need to check out before Christmas, December 10th, we're going to be in J-Town for Louisville Con, December 10th. And we're going to be there with a lot of other great dealers in the area. We got Pops Comics, I know is going to be there. They're one of the official sponsors for the show. Also, comic artist Josef Rubinstein of Frank Miller's Wolverine is going to be in attendance, so you can get your stuff signed from him. All kinds of great dealers and toys, comic books, movie posters, action figures, all kinds of great stuff. So come down to J-Town on December 10th for Louisville Con. Check out their website, louisvillecon.com, for more details. All right, I think that's going to wrap this up here. Because it is, you know, if you're watching this on Wednesday, it's the day before Thanksgiving. Advice I give every year to anybody who's going to listen for Thanksgiving: if you're deep frying your turkey,
just don't.
Well, I mean, a deep fried turkey can be really good. I mean, I've had deep fried turkey.
It tastes good.
It's great stuff.
Dangerous.
But yeah, it can be dangerous. I mean, you're doing it for the first time. The turkey has to thaw first, okay?
Really thaw.
Do not put a frozen turkey in the deep fryer.
You won't like it.
Bad things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe us, you know, look on YouTube. You know, idiot tries to deep fry a frozen turkey. You know, type that in and see the results. All right, I think that's everything. You have anything else, old man?
Just my true believer comment.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
All right, true believers, if you're watching this, you know all about YouTube and you know about subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, come on.